Silently, arteries clog over time, building up pressure in the blood vessels without a single warning sign until the damage is done. Heart disease remains the #1 killer in the United States. But what most people don't realize is that it's not always about genetics or even lifestyle alone. There are small daily choices that add up over time. And today, we're looking at 3 specific foods that, when used correctly, have the potential to protect and even help restore the health of your arteries. Backed by science, observed in cultures with high longevity, and easy to implement. Welcome to VITALYCORE. We're here to show you what works, not what trends. The silent killer and the body's defense system. The human vascular system is one of the most resilient structures in the body. It's constantly repairing itself, fighting inflammation, and adapting to daily stresses. But that repair mechanism depends heavily on what we feed it. Diets high in processed foods, sugars, and oxidized fats create a constant inflammatory environment in the bloodstream. Over time, this damages the delicate lining of the arteries, known as the endothelium. Once that barrier is compromised, cholesterol particles begin to stick, and plaque forms. Here's the key most people miss. Inflammation is not just a symptom. It's a driver of the damage. And when you target inflammation, you allow your body to heal. That's where these 3 foods come in. We'll start with one that stood the test of time in ancient and modern cultures alike. Food number 1, the oil that fights inflammation. In the traditional Mediterranean diet, heart disease rates are dramatically lower, not because they eat less fat, but because they eat the right kind of fat. One of the cornerstones of that diet is extra virgin olive oil. And when we say extra virgin, we mean cold-pressed, unrefined, and ideally produced from early harvest olives. This type of oil is rich in polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that protect blood vessels from oxidative damage. Research published in the journal Clinical Nutrition showed that regular consumption of high polyphenol olive oil improved endothelial function in adults at risk of cardiovascular disease. Another large-scale study, the PREDIM trial, found that participants consuming a Mediterranean diet supplemented with olive oil had a 30% lower risk of major cardiovascular events. But here's where people go wrong. They cook with it at high heat or buy poor quality versions stripped of nutrients. To get the full benefit, olive oil should be consumed raw. Use it on salads, drizzle it over warm not hot vegetables, or even mix a spoonful into your soup once it's cooled a bit. That's when it becomes medicine. Personally, I add it to my first meal of the day every single morning. No exceptions. Cultures in Greece, Italy, and parts of Spain have been doing this for centuries, and their populations show lower blood pressure, lower LDL cholesterol, and better cognitive function into old age. Coincidence? Not likely. And that's why here, on VITALYCORE, we go deep into the habits that actually translate to longevity, not just buzzwords. Food number 2, the root that repairs blood flow. There's a reason some traditional diets in Eastern Europe, the Andes, and parts of Asia rely heavily on root vegetables. They're nutrient, dense, energy stabilizing, and blood enhancing. Among them, one root stands out for its vascular benefits: beets, or more specifically, beetroot. When consumed raw or lightly steamed, beets provide nitrates, compounds that the body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes and widens blood vessels, improving circulation and lowering blood pressure naturally. In a study published by the American Heart Association, participants who drank beetroot juice daily for just 4 weeks saw significant drops in systolic and diastolic pressure. It wasn't a small effect. It was enough to rival mild pharmaceutical interventions. But beets don't just impact pressure. They help reduce stiffness in arteries, improve oxygen delivery to muscles and organs, and support better stamina and cognition. This is why athletes use beetroot powder to boost performance. But for the everyday person, the goal is vascular elasticity, the ability of arteries to expand and contract as needed. That's where beets shine. One way I recommend using them is blending a small raw beet with lemon, a little water, and ginger. It's not a taste everyone loves, but the effects are real. You can feel the difference, especially if you've been dealing with cold hands, fatigue, or sluggish energy. These are often signs of poor circulation, and beets help correct that at the source. On VITALYCORE, we'll keep bringing you tools that don't rely on hype, just results. And this next food is one most people ignore entirely, yet it's been used in healing systems for over 2,000 years. Daily habits that multiply results. Now here's the truth no one talks about. Food alone isn't enough if your daily habits work against it. Timing, stress levels, hydration, movement, these all interact with the nutrients you consume. Eat olive oil but follow it with processed sugar? You just canceled half the benefit. Drink beet juice but never move your body? Circulation remains sluggish. That's why we'll be creating a follow-up video with 5 simple daily habits to supercharge the effects of these foods. If you want that, drop the word hacks in the comments. That tells us you're serious. And if we see enough responses, that video is coming next. These habits won't cost you money, they won't take hours, and they don't require motivation, just structure. Just knowing how to combine what you're already doing. That's what we're here for at VITALYCORE. We bring strategy to your health journey. Food number 3. The seed that balances cholesterol and calms the heart. Tiny, tasteless, and often underestimated, flax seeds have been documented as early as ancient Babylon, where they were prized for their health-supporting properties. Today, science has confirmed what traditional cultures already knew: flaxseed is one of the most potent, functional foods available, particularly for cardiovascular health. Its benefits come from 3 key components: omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, soluble fiber, and lignans. Together, these elements work synergistically to reduce inflammation, lower LDL cholesterol, and improve arterial flexibility. In clinical trials, daily flaxseed consumption has been shown to reduce blood pressure, particularly in people with hypertension. One Canadian study gave participants with high blood pressure 30 grams of ground flaxseed daily for 6 months. The result? Significant drops in both systolic and diastolic pressure. Not just marginally, but enough to rival the effects of medication in some individuals. And yet, this food is cheap, available in every grocery store, and requires no preparation other than grinding. Always choose ground flaxseed whole seeds, pass through the digestive tract, unabsorbed, and avoid pre-ground flax sitting on shelves for months. The fats go rancid quickly. Store in the fridge and consume within a few weeks of opening. One tip I've learned personally: mix ground flax with a bit of warm water in the morning, let it sit for 5 minutes, and drink it as a gel. It may sound strange, but that gel coats your gut lining, improves digestion, and delivers its anti-inflammatory compounds straight into your bloodstream. A small habit, but the results over time are anything but small. Final thoughts. Back to the basics. Back to results. We live in an age where people chase complexity, assuming that more complicated means more effective. But health doesn't work that way. The human body evolved over thousands of years, relying on whole, nutrient-dense foods, daily movement, and clean water, not on supplements, extreme diets, or expensive trends. The farther we drift from that foundation, the more we struggle. And the truth is, returning to the basics isn't a step backward. It's progress in the right direction. Olive oil, beetroot, flaxseed, these aren't superfoods because of marketing. They're superfoods because they restore natural balance in a system that's been overstimulated and inflamed for decades. When used consistently, they don't just lower blood pressure. They support overall vascular integrity, cognitive clarity, hormonal stability, and cellular repair. Let's take a moment to appreciate what that really means. Your arteries are not just pipes delivering blood. They're dynamic, responsive tissues that regulate temperature, immune function, nutrient delivery, and even mood. When they're inflamed or stiff, your whole system feels fatigue, brain fog, poor sleep, slow recovery after activity. When they're flexible and clean, energy flows better, organs get what they need, and the heart doesn't have to fight with every beat. That's why what we eat affects more than our weight. It affects our entire experience of being alive. Curious fact, many people don't realize this, but nitric oxide, the molecule boosted by beetroot, also plays a role in memory formation. It's a neurotransmitter. That's why some studies link improved blood flow with better memory recall and decision-making. Similarly, the lignans in flaxseed have been shown to support hormone balance in both men and women, contributing to better metabolic health and reduced risk of certain hormone-related cancers. And olive oil? Some research suggests its polyphenols protect telomeres, the end caps of DNA strands, meaning it could play a role in slowing cellular aging. We're not just talking about blood pressure here. We're talking about resilience at a cellular level. Now think about the cultures where these foods are staples. In Sardinia, one of the world's blue zones, olive oil is consumed daily, and people often live past 100. In rural Peru and Bolivia, beets are part of traditional dishes that support energy and altitude performance. In ancient Egypt, flax was considered so valuable it was used in burial rituals, and even as currency. That's how much respect they had for it. Modern science has just caught up to what tradition has always known. These aren't fads, they're foundations. But again, food is only part of the equation. You can eat all the flax and olive oil in the world, but if you sit all day, sleep poorly, and live in chronic stress, your body will stay in survival mode. That's why we're preparing a follow-up video that will reveal 5 simple daily habits to multiply the effects of these foods. We're talking about timing, blood flow activation, hydration tricks, micromovement, and stress regulation techniques that don't require apps or gym memberships. Just smart application. If you want that next step, drop the word hacks in the comments. That's your way of telling us, I'm ready for more. Here at VITALYCORE, we don't believe in passive health. We believe in strategic action. And we believe that knowledge alone is useless unless applied. So the goal isn't just to inform you, it's to equip you so that the next time you look in the mirror or feel your heartbeat, you know that what you're doing is building something real, artery by artery, cell by cell. One final thought. Every change you make today, no matter how small, has compound effects. That tablespoon of olive oil, that daily beet tonic, that spoonful of flax, they're not minor. Over time, they add up to thousands of tiny corrections in blood flow, oxidative stress, and inflammation. Thousands of quiet repairs that never make a sound but change everything. That's the kind of long-term strategy that medicine can't bottle and sell. But you can activate it today by choosing differently. That's why VITALYCORE exists. To bring you content that respects your intelligence, honors your time, and delivers tools that actually work. We're not here to chase trends. We're here to build resilience from the inside out. So, if this video gave you value, like it, share it with someone who's been struggling with blood pressure or low energy, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Remember, longevity isn't luck, it's a strategy, and it starts with you right now.